Welcome back, everyone, to the After the Scales podcast, episode 9, with today's special guest, sprint car driver Robbie Price, all the way from Cobble Hills, British Columbia, Canada. Robbie, thanks for being on our podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we wanted to kick things off. Kind of tell us about your season last year before we get into your 2024 plans. Obviously, you were full-time with the World of Outlaws sprint cars. That's a great deal to have racing for Jason Sides. Kind of tell our viewers about that deal.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of something that came together towards the beginning half to middle of the year before. I think I was in there in April or May. Jay obviously kind of had some health issues and was looking for somebody to fill the seat, and I fit the resume. So we ran decent there when I filled in for him, and it got, he was excited, I was excited, it got my, sponsors excited. We decided to sign on and do a full year in last year. We went through and ran the full Outlaw Tour, so it was a fun deal. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I love racing out on the road. It's obviously not the first time I've been on the road, but first time I've been on the road with a full-blown 410 Outlaw team, everything like that. So I had done the ASCS National Tour previously, but obviously the Outlaw Tour covers a little bit more mileage.
And you ended up finishing second in the Rookie of the Year behind Gio Scelzi. Obviously, he's having a good year. Tell our viewers about, it's really highly competitive running a 410 team, whether you're in the Outlaws, High Limit, or even down to the ASCS. I mean, they have the World Racing Group just bought into ACS. So kind of tell our viewers about the competition level that you're going up against.
Yeah, it's hard to really explain. Them guys are on kill every night. They're on kill for 10th place through 15th. There was some places where we went, felt like we were really good. And then there was other places where we went and we're like, man, the local competition's here. You get feeder guys. The thing about running with the Outlaw Tour is it's the best. So a lot of times, and the pays out, really good for $1,000 to start and everything like that. It's where weekly stuff isn't quite there. So when you go to these areas where 410 racing is more prominent, you get a lot of good local guys and you'll draw a lot. If you go to Eldora, you get all the Ohio guys, you get the Outlaws, the All-Star, what used to be All-Stars used to usually have an off weekend there. So you get all the All-Stars, and then you'd even drag a couple people up from Pennsylvania, or down from Pennsylvania. So it just it draws in the best, and so therefore I feel like it probably makes it the best. It draws so much good competition. It makes it so tough for you to compete week in, week out. And, when you sign on to the full tour, you can go have a bad week and you can go home and reset when you're not on the Outlaw Tour, go run, a local show somewhere to kind of get your confidence back up and everything like that. When you're night in, night out with the Outlaws, it can wear down on you, but it also makes you that much better if you ever step away from it.
And before I get into my question, I just wanted to let everyone know I am repping my Robbie Price shirt here from last year. So I'm going to need some new merch at some point, but yeah. I did want to ask you, kind of go back to the beginning, because you're from the island on the west coast of Canada, which obviously there isn't a lot of racing out there specifically. I'm curious, how did you get involved in racing in the first place? Is it a run in your family, or where did you get your start?
Yeah, no, it runs in my family. Obviously, my dad's dad raced. He ran the IDC a couple times, and there was a really good pavement track at home, Western Speedway. He ran that, for years, and then my dad ran, grew up running. There was a little dirt track at home, Cassidy Speedway, which closed a long time ago, before my time, or at least I don't remember being there. And it closed, and then everybody kind of went to the pavement deal. My dad ran pavement cars, built a lot of pavement cars, actually built a lot of late models and everything like that. Was a really good fabricator, worked at another chassis shop in town there and worked there for a long time. And then obviously grew up, raced when he could with kids and all that. And then it kind of came my turn. We ran quarter midgets for about 2 years. Then I jumped into junior sprint and ran down at Deming Speedway in Washington State. Cut my teeth kind of there, moved up through the ranks from junior sprint to 600 restricted, 600 open. I ran a Ford Focus midget for like a year, and then I moved to Sportsman Sprint Cars, which is like a limited deal out here. And then that was in 2014. I ran Sportsman's, and then the next year I was 360, 410, and I've been pretty well wide open ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before you got into the deal with Jason's Sides, were you running a family car, like your 360 and 410? Was that a family car?
Yeah. Yep. No, I've ran a family car I ran off and on for other people. Always ran a couple shows with Casey Minks out of El Paso every winter. We did the short track nationals a couple times. I drove for another guy in California a couple of times. And then I drove for a guy out in the Midwest a couple times and another guy from Indiana. So I kind of bounced around. I was a really good affiliation with Shark Racing Engines in Washington here. So that kind of got my foot in the door in a lot of places to where I was always answering the phone and, talking to people, good customer relation there, and just kind of opened the door for a lot of opportunities for me.
Awesome.
And I want to kind of touch on, you brought up Shark Racing Engines. Obviously, sponsorship is really important in racing. It's getting really expensive. Obviously, everybody knows that. It takes a lot of resources to get up and down the road. I just saw your brand new paint scheme that Heater Design Studio designed, which looks awesome. Very clean design. You mentioned the Shark Racing Engines, but kind of tell us some of the other sponsors that help you. I see you got Saratoga Motorsports Park on there, as well as Grinders Automotive. So
yeah, I got Mark on there. Obviously Mark and Debbie are like second family to me. I've been down in Washington State for so long now. It's just it's home for me. So their place is home for me. I've been there so long that, no matter what, that's going to be on a car when I run it. Basically, they've helped me out so much throughout my career. I got Grinders Automotive on there as well. Another guy from around here. He's kind of stepped up to help us out this year, and he kind of started doing his own deal a couple of years ago, and it's obviously grown to enough to where he can help out other racers. And he's not just on my car too. He helps a lot of people out here. You go to Skagit Speedway, there's 5 or 6 cars up and down the pit that have him on there, and I know personally I appreciate it a lot. I'm sure everybody else does. And then I got my car owner, Saratoga Motorsports Park, the Layton family, Rob and Lee. They've been with me for a couple of years now since I've been on the national tour, and then this year they transitioned into the more car owner role. So I'm very fortunate with them being on there and helping me out the past couple of years. Good car owners are hard to find, so I feel really fortunate that I got them on there this year and kind of stepped into the ownership role. And it's hard to get people to help you out, and especially hard to get people to help you out when they live 6.5, 7 hours away. So they really love racing, and I'm really lucky to be connected with them this year. Then I got Malahat Auto Wrecking. Jeff drives for my car owner. He has a pavement operation too that I ran in Vegas last year, and then Jeff's driving that car again this year. So they're running Monroe tomorrow night actually, and then they'll run Penticton and Saratoga Motorsports Park. They'll run there a handful of times. So Jeff's driving that car for him, and then he's also on the nose wing of my car. So he jumped on board to help out a little bit this year. And then I got another guy, Elton McGann, out of Alaska actually. Another person I'm lucky enough to meet through Mark. So he's on the car. He's got a little mining operation out there, and I just got it's a small group of people in the car, but they're all really good, and I appreciate everything they do.
You mentioned Vegas. That's actually what I was going to ask you about next. That open wheel showdown that Davey Hamilton Jr. put together. The first annual. How did that ride come about? It looked like a blast. Like it looked like the event went off really well. I think they're doing it in LA this year. Do you have plans to run that again?
I think so. I'm not really sure. I'm entered in it. My dad has a handful of payment cars, and one or two of them. I think he might have got rid of one. He might just have one left. I'm not really sure what he's got going on. And then Rob, obviously, he has one or two of them. So I'm registered. Jeff's obviously got the priority seat there. He's the priority in the pavement side, which is completely understandable. But I ran a handful of pavement races, kind of, in my early late teens, and then that 50,000 deal came up down in Vegas, and I took a screenshot of it and sent it to him, and I said, "Man, what do you think about this?" And he had a guy driving his car last year, and he kind of retired at the end of the year, so I knew the seat was open, and he says, "Well, I'm game if you're game." And I said, "Well, I guess we're going." So I booked a flight right then. We went down to Vegas, and obviously did pretty good for what I feel like. I hadn't been in a pavement car in a couple of years, and we came out of the deal fourth. So I was happy to make the show, and it was a big learning curve, kind of jumping back in, a limited amount of practice. Thank goodness my dad was there. He knows what he's doing on the pavement setup side of stuff, and he kind of got us in the right direction, and we were leaps and bounds ahead on race day than we were from practice day. So yeah, to come out of that deal fourth, I was really happy, and I'm entered to do it again this year at Irwindale. I don't know what car I'll be in or if I'll be in a car, but I figure I'll enter and figure the rest of that out, in November or whenever it is.
Yeah, I don't know, Jacob and Bert, I don't know if you guys got to see that or not. That was a really cool event. Like the pavement sprints, they get no publicity at all. And the racing was awesome. It was such a cool event. And it sounds like it's going to be kind of bigger and better this year. So I know Davey Hamilton Jr. and Senior both put a lot of effort into growing that. So it'd be really cool to see you in that again.
Yeah, I agree. The West Coast, especially Vancouver Island, is very underrated on their pavement sprint car drivers. I feel like if you go down and look at that, the results there from the Vegas deal, I feel like probably almost half the cars in the A main on Saturday night were from the West Coast or West Coast affiliated. So they're a really stout group of guys around here. I know a couple years ago I ran the NSRA, which is no longer a thing, I don't think, but it's a stout deal. It's good competition, and the West Coast is definitely underrated on their pavement sprint car drivers. So I think when we all went down there and made a little bit of a splash, so hopefully a couple more eyes on it for this year.
Cool.
And you're one of the younger guys in the field, I would say. You've had some success early on at 21 years old. You found yourself winning the Skagit Speedway Track Championship back in 2017. You were also one of the youngest ever to win the Dirt Cup there as well. You've checked off some pretty good accomplishments so far. What are some of your goals that you look forward to in your racing career?
Yeah, I've had some success, mainly on the 360 side, and that's kind of I love it. I mean, it's cool, and it's cool to look at all. I've made definitely some accomplishments in the 360 stuff, but moving forward, I really want to focus on the 410 stuff. Dirt Cup's back to being a 410 race. It'd be cool to win it as a 360 and a 410. There's a lot of good competition out here for the 410 stuff nowadays, with 55 Promotions taking over the track and just kind of bringing the 410 stuff back. Skagit obviously has always been home for me, and I've always loved racing there. So it's good to see the 410s kind of coming back, and they're throwing a lot of money at it, which is what it takes. So, moving forward, I just kind of want to focus more on the 410 stuff, see if I can have some accomplishments there.
Yeah, that's cool. Like the West Coast stuff, they were running a lot of 360s, and their 410 program was kind of going by the wayside a little bit, but it's definitely been revitalized, and you can watch a lot of it on streaming when the other stuff is over. And Trey Starks is a guy, for one that runs really well out there. And what are your plans this year then? You're running Skagit quite a bit, I imagine. I know High Limit goes out there. Outlaws go out there, I think, later on this year. Are you running those events when they come to town then?
As of right now, I think so. I kind of got I'm not very good at planning, so I've got a pretty good loose schedule. It's kind of gonna obviously focus on Skagit. It's 10-minute drive for me, so and the money's hard, so good there, so it's gonna be hard for me to leave anywhere else to go do it. Obviously, there's some off weekends here, which I probably will still race, whether it be down in California or Oregon. There's a good speed week in Oregon. Just kind of race as much as I can. We obviously got a little bit of a late start out here compared to what I've usually done in the past couple of years. So just kind of trying to play catch up there, race as much as I can. A lot of 410 stuff mainly is kind of the big focus. There's a good speed week, like I said. And then when High Limit comes out here, obviously that's on their schedule, and possibly some of the outlaw stuff down in California, and Trophy Cup's on the schedule. The car owner's been itching to go to Trophy Cup. The last time I went was during COVID restrictions, so they can come down. So I've been there a handful of times with his name on the side of the car, but he's never actually been there in person. So I think we're all excited for it. Like I said, he's going to come down a lot more, and he's supported me for the last couple of years, both him and his wife and his family, but they haven't really got to see me race very much. So that's kind of the big focus this year, is kind of, see what they're paying for basically, and supporting and getting them more involved and getting them excited about it. I know it's hard to just watch on TV and say, oh yeah, no, I sponsor that. It's way cooler for them to be there in person and say, I'm affiliated with this team, and hopefully the success comes with that, and I can build something that they'd be proud of.
And you're only our ninth guest on our podcast, and we actually haven't asked anyone this yet, but I kind of wanted to see what your weekly routine work looks like, because obviously any race car driver has a busy schedule, and kind of tell our viewers what is the process throughout the week when you're going to the shop, when you're working it out on stuff, or taking time to prepare for the weekends.
Yeah, it's been it's been kind of all over the place lately. Obviously, the team that I'm driving for now, we got a really late start to things. We didn't really kind of have anything written in stone or anything until after Chili Bowl. So I felt like I was, a couple months behind on building cars and ordering parts and everything like that. So it's been pretty wide open lately. I'm there more than I'm not. But now that I've raced last weekend, and I'm kind of getting back more into a normal routine, I'll quit leaving at 2 a.m. and stuff like that. But usually I'm there. I usually get up and then get over there by usually 9ish, 8:39. I'll go next door. I usually have lunch at Sharks every day. My shop's right next door, so I usually have lunch at Sharks every day, and then I'll go over and tinker on the race cars and kind of get going on stuff, and then I'll usually leave around 7:38, sometimes later, obviously, when I was trying to grind it out. But now that I've kind of gotten into a routine that we've raced last week, I car wash on Sunday. Monday, I won't get too excited about doing stuff. I'll just kind of clean up around the shop and kind of go through inventory, see if I need to order anything. Tuesday, usually I have the car done. Wednesday, there's a group of guys that come up and hang out. We usually have a little shop night. Probably do more barbecuing and eating than we do working. But usually that's when tire stuff gets done and everything like that. And then this week is a little different because I'm running 360s and 410s this weekend. So this week, Thursday, Friday, I've been working on the 360 car, getting it ready, and just kind of trying to get as prepared as possible. I'd like to say I have a normal schedule, but I haven't really quite gotten there yet. It all really depends. So I might not be the first person, the earliest riser, but I'll put in the hours. There's the big logging community, and I've passed a couple loggers on their way to work when I'm leaving. So I know that I'm there a little bit too long. But yeah, no, I haven't really gotten to a super concrete schedule, but I'm sure once I kind of get racing and get everything more organized, and I'm pretty meticulous on how I want things. So I definitely take my time doing stuff, and I do it and make sure it's the way I want it, which is probably a downfall sometimes, but at the end of the day, I guess I'm the one driving it. So,
Robbie, we have this before we wrap up. We got this everyone's favorite game show. called Rapid Fire by Victory Fuel. Bert, you want to tell us about the promotion?
Yeah, go ahead and use code DIRTLATENATION for 10% off at drinkvictory.com.
10% off for Victory Fuel. Robbie, we just have 10 rapid fire questions. We'll fire them off. You just answer the first thing that comes to your head.
All right, put me on the spot.
That's right. All right, so when you're out on the Outlaw Tour, what's your favorite track to go to?
Oh, probably Huset's. Yeah, I mean, I like Huset's. It's kind of like home, so I'd probably say Huset's is probably one of the first ones that jumps to the head. But there's a laundry list of them that I like, and there's a laundry list of them that I don't like too. So one's probably hard to nail it down to, but I'd probably have to say Huset's.
Well, my next question was, what was the track you looked least forward to going to?
Oh, I don't know. I can't say that. I'll get lynched.
What's your favorite racing memory or accomplishment so far?
Probably winning Dirt Cup. It was cool. My whole family was there. There was a couple of people there that are no longer here, so I'll obviously have really good memories with them being there. And I'd probably have to say that. That's probably my biggest win, and that's probably the coolest one. I came back home after being gone, and everybody, it was just a really exciting weekend. Everything went smooth, and I'd probably have to say that one.
All right, if you can race any kind of car on any track, what would you choose? Doesn't have to be a sprint car.
I'd like to try an Indy car, but I would probably say dirt 410 sprint car.
And what track?
Oh,
you can race any car on any track.
I mean, obviously, Indy car at Indy would probably be that. Yeah, I'd like to try that. It'd be cool.
What race has the best party, the Chili Bowl or the Sides Bar and Grill at Knoxville?
I'll probably have to go to the Sides Bar and Grill at Knoxville. Yeah, Chili Bowl's good, but I don't know. I think that being affiliated with the Sides Bar and Grill probably makes it that much better.
What's your biggest pet peeve while driving your street car?
When people do under the speed limit. I get a little bit of road rage, or if I'm driving the semi and they cut me off or they wait till the last second to merge. Yeah, I get to, if I haven't raced in a while, the road rage gets worse. So later in the summer, it's not as bad, but going down to California at the beginning of the year, it got a little tense.
If someone is coming to visit Cobble Hill, British Columbia, where's the first place you're taking them?
Oh boy, that's slim pickings. It's but probably the Cobblestone. Good old little hometown bar.
Nice. All right. You spent a lot of time in the States, but you are Canadian. What is the one chocolate bar or potato chip flavor that Americans need to have that they don't have?
That's a funny story. I mentioned it. I have a guy that comes down all the time and helps me out, and he said, "What's one thing do you want me to bring you down?" And I said, "Man, I haven't had a Big Turk in a while," so he brought me down one of those.
Big Turk.
Yeah, and then Hawkins cheesies. We don't have them down here.
Wow.
But at home, it's nice to get those every once in a while.
So I asked Trayton Lapsevich last week, and immediately right away, no hesitation, he said ketchup chips.
Yeah, I figured that'd probably be the popular one, but the Hawkins cheesy is a little underrated.
What's your favorite singer or band right now?
Boy, I don't know. Nothing new, I can tell you that. When I'm in the shop, it's usually 90s grunge or
nice.
Old stuff usually is what it is. Nothing too country or anything like that, but I don't know if I can narrow it down to a favorite one.
All right, we got one more. It's the $1 million question. Who is winning the Stanley Cup this year?
Canucks. Gotta go with them, right? Yeah. Like I said, I'd be in trouble if I didn't say that.
That's right.
That's right.
All right, man. Good stuff. Appreciate you coming on. It's awesome. Wishing you best of luck this year. Hopefully see you at some point on the East Coast or Chili Bowl or something next year.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, we appreciate Robbie being on our podcast today. Make sure to go give him a follow on social media at Robbie Price 21. Make sure to stay up to date with everything that's going on with him and catch him at a racetrack near you soon. My name's Jacob Dove from Phenom Motorsports. You can follow us at Phenom_Motorsports along with Shaun Blight at CDN Racing Tours, and Bert Clements at Dirt Late Nation. Yeah, we appreciate Robbie, and we look forward to having this episode up for all our viewers on our YouTube channel after the scales. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks, Robbie.
Yeah, thank you guys. Let me know. I'll come back on middle of summer or anything like that. Let me know.
Love it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks again to Robbie for being on our podcast today. We're going to get into our new segment called Green, White, Checkered, kind of updating our viewers on our personal adventures that we got going on in the racing world. So we're going to start off with Bert with the green flag.
Yeah, so basically, I've been running a lot of iRacing lately. As you know, I'm back with Phenom, and it's kind of been a struggle for me lately. But yeah, usually I just be running the whole iRacing schedule for the World of Outlaws, both fixed and open, and your modifieds. But other than that, it's about it. We also got Richmond Raceway this weekend, so excited to be doing that. So other than that, that's all I've got going on.
Kind of tell us about your win at Knoxville and the new house car.
Well, sadly, the win at Knoxville wasn't in the new house car. I really wish it was, but it came a week late. The win at Knoxville was really, really special, knowing that I did start in the back to a 1,700 strength of field, which was my highest strength of field win I've ever had. I started way in the back, did terrible in qualifying, and everybody was just all over the place. And I couldn't really do nothing about it. I just had to hold my line, and the contact was made. And eventually, I wasn't really paying attention to the leaderboard at the bottom. And I ended up just rolling the bottom all the way around for like 30, 40 laps. And then I was following this one guy in front of me, and it turned out to be the leader. And his laps come down. There was 2 to go, and I caught him. And I sat right behind him running the bottom. And I just watched him make mistake after mistake. And I was perfect on the bottom. So it really gave me an advantage. And then on the last lap going into 1, I hit him low like I was the whole race, and he decided he wanted to come down. So I bumped him way up the track and said, no, it's not happening. And I went right by him and cruised for the win. Although I was slamming the wall at the victory, but, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, I'm very thankful for that, especially to be able to get that in CDN Racing Tours late model, especially at a sprint car track. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I was watching that whole race on your live stream. I was actually driving in my car.
Not supposed to say that.
I was driving, trying to listen to how Bert was doing, and man, I was watching the POV, and I thought I was going to crash my car just watching Bert wheeling it, but it was really exciting. So I'm really excited for Bert to keep after it and the iRacing stuff. But before we get into our next white flag, just kind of tell everyone what kind of cars we got going on at Richmond Raceway in Kentucky.
We've got well, it's always the low pay where it's not that it's on the verge of being shut down. So we're kind of just working with it right now. But they've got I think it's either 1,000 or 3,000 to win. Crate late models usually show up a lot of good people, but it kind of depends on whether other tracks in Kentucky are racing, and that was the case for the last weekend I was there. Elliott ended up finishing like eighth, it was eighth. But you still had Dustin Linville there and stuff, so I'd expect him to be there. But you've got the crate late models, you've got modifieds, and then you got the super stocks. And the Crown Vics might be there this time, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is the first time they've been there. But if not, it'll just be those 3.
Awesome. And Shaun, take us away with the white flag.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to Sharon Speedway this weekend, but Mother Nature is striking again. We've got amazing weather throughout the week, and then it seems to be raining every weekend everywhere. So I saw the Outlaws were rained out tonight at Williams Grove. Tomorrow is maybe, I don't know if they're going to get that in either. So we'll see. I'm going to go to Outlaw Speedway for the High Limit show next week. next Thursday. Then we got Lernerville on Friday, Sharon for the World of Outlaws on Saturday. And then Monday up here in Canada is a holiday, so there is local racing. I'm going to check the Northeast Late Model Alliance Series at Merrittville Speedway. So Sunday will be my only day off next weekend, so that'll be kind of crazy. But one thing I did note, I wanted to give a shout out to Big Game Motorsports picking up their 100th World of Outlaw win the other night with David Gravel, one of my favorite all-time teams. I was a big Terry McCarl fan, along with Steve Kinser growing up as a kid. Sammy Swindell, Craig Delansky, Kerry Madsen, just a really cool single car team that has had some awesome drivers through the years, and picking up win number 100 is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome. And fortunately, the whole reason why we haven't been able to kind of have some episodes, we took a little break, and Shaun kind of fell under the weather after Port Royal.
Don't eat the hot dogs at Port Royal.
But we're glad to be back. We got some pretty good guests coming up on our show. We've been able to reach out to some drivers. Shaun's been reaching out to some asphalt sprint car drivers, so definitely stay tuned for that. People who just ran the Rich Vogler 100. So we're not going to drop any names yet. Stay tuned for that.
Well, we could drop one, I think.
No, I'm going to get Drake Troutman on here sometime soon, so expect that. And if it doesn't happen, then no, there is no if. It is going to happen. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
We do have Taylor Ferns next week, so that'll be really cool. So that'll be going down on Tuesday night. Working on another guest that's not confirmed, so we're gonna try to have 2 shows next week. But Taylor Ferns Tuesday is in, so that'll be really cool. With the week of Indy coming up in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be there for the first time. I've been to one Indy 500, but I've never done the Hoosier 100 or the Little Indy, so that'll be really cool. I'm really pumped for that.
I don't know what's up with these last names with Ferns or Fern in it. You got Ferno and then Ferns.
Yeah, I guess if you're
I didn't even put that together, but
yeah,
leave it to Bert.
Driver, I guess. Yeah, but I'll go ahead and take us away with the checkered flag. Last weekend, I got to go to our local dirt track down here in South Florida, Hendry County Speedway. Got to see 2 of our phenom motorsports drivers, Tyler Landis and Bryce Comer. Got behind the wheel of the number 6S Smith Racing 360 sprint car. Obviously, it's a really good ride that he has, formerly driven by Tyler Clem, who's now running the late models for Viper Motorsports. He had a pretty good night. He ran 4th in his heat race, and then started 8th. He was up to 6th, 7th place, and then unfortunately had some contact in the feature. It wasn't by his wrongdoings and some bad luck, and didn't finish the race, but still showed consistently some speed throughout the night. And then Tyler ran double duty. He did the Crown Vics and the 4.6 Fords. He had a decent night running that. He ended up finishing 6th in that feature, but he was able to basically sweep the night in his micro sprint, won his heat race, and then started on the pole and led every lap. It was a solid night of racing overall, and it was good to see Tyler park it in victory lane. So yeah, definitely 2 guys to keep your eyes on in the radar in the South Florida racing scene. And as far as coming up, I was planning on going to Citrus County Speedway and central-ish North Florida area near Tampa. They're going to have the 40-lap wing asphalt sprint cars, but fortunately it doesn't look like it's in the plans for me this weekend. So kind of seeing what race is going to be next for me, but kind of stayed mostly dirt, but going to see some asphalt racing once in a while isn't too bad, even though, we're definitely a lot more on the dirt side of things, but it's still cool to see the super late models and sprint cars on any given night, whatever racetrack it is. So, but yeah, overall, we appreciate everyone for tuning in to our podcast. And like we said, make sure you like this video, subscribe, follow all of each other on social media. We really appreciate all the support. And, like Shaun and Bert said, stay tuned for some really good guests we got coming up. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.